Good morning. My name is Kathy Mao. I am a friend to Alice Brewer, and I'd like to introduce her to you. Alice is a medium. I've known her for many years and have found my time with her always to be exciting, amazing, and fantastic, and so beneficial to my life. Alice is here today to talk to you a little bit about what she does. Let's refer to her as a medium or as a psychic. And today she's going to give you information about exactly what she does and how she does it. So, Alice, why don't you just jump in?
All right. I'm not sure I can describe exactly what I do. It's really more like what happens when somebody comes to see me.
All right. So, why would a person come to see you?
Well, people come to see me for various reasons. Often it's to connect with a loved one who has passed. That's kind of like the medium
Someone
part.
who died.
Oh, yes, someone who has died.
Okay.
And that can be very, very meaningful to the individual, and I get to feel, because the feelings come through. I will see the individual who has passed. I can pass along direct messages, the goal being to connect the individual who is looking for that loved one, to connect those two more directly so that they don't need somebody like a medium in between.
Okay, so like if I wanted to talk to my mother, who's been dead since 1991, that I can come to you and she'll show up for me, or my dad, or is that right?
Yes, that's
okay.
right. Not that you can't talk to them ahead of time and so on and so on, but people don't know that, and so they come here. People are not sure whether that's happening, and they also like the tips on how to make that that conversation more direct.
Okay.
So it's really kind of a wonderful thing. So that's one aspect of things. And I don't know, well, when I am functioning as a medium, you might say, all I'm doing is being the intermediary between the loved one who has crossed over and the person sitting there in front of me. And I will, when I say I see the individual, some of them come in more clearly than others. I think that's probably an energetic thing. But the way it works for me is as if I were dreaming. So you can do this, you guys. You know, if you're dreaming and you actually see pictures in your head, that's kind of where this is going on for me. It's that kind of a picture that comes up, except I'm wide awake and I see it out there. But it's not with my physical eyes. It's with what some people call one's third eye.
Okay.
So, and I see the loved one, or loved ones plural, who have passed, and they see me. You know, we can talk directly. They know I'm here, and I know they're there. And the idea is to really loop their loved one, the client here, in on the conversation and confirm the connection, basically. A lot of emotions. I pick up a lot of emotions under those circumstances. So that's one aspect of mediumship, unless I've left something out that...
So people can talk to loved ones or even other people, like just... If they just wanted to talk to someone who's crossed over.
That has happened as well. I find that rather remarkable. It's almost like, name anyone who's crossed over, and so far they have always shown up to have some sort of a comment, or it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, as we continue with this talk this morning, we're going to talk about a few of the people that we have talked to, not related to us, but we can mention a few of those people. So you actually, in your mind, you see these things, and what you're relating is what they're saying to you. So you get words from them, but you also get the emotion.
Yes, the emotions actually are easier for me to pick up. It's not that I'm seeing it in my head. I actually see it out there. You'll see me looking somewhere.
Yes, always.
And everybody looks around like, what's over there? And nobody sees anything except for me. Because your loved one might come up over here, or I might see them over there. And that's actually what's happening in these videos. When you see me focusing out there, everybody is wondering, what's she looking at? Well, I'm looking at the images that come up through my mind's eye that are being projected on our behalf for our highest and greatest good from the good guys up there.
Yeah.
And or I'm just accessing information that's out there. People often ask, who are you talking to? And if it's a loved one who has crossed over, that's who I'm talking to, and I'll certainly let you know that. So if people are interested in accessing other information, I don't channel, I don't think, because it's more like the information's out there. It's more like an energetic piece of information, and you just go straight to that. For me anyway, I don't go through any particular spirit or any particular guide. It's just, we're looking for the information, and that's where we go.
Okay. All right. So what we've done is we've been curious, and so our time together is often when we'll say, well, what about this? Like, what about health? What about love? What about death? What about reincarnation? And so you'll often just say, okay, let's start asking the questions. And somebody shows up.
Somebody shows up, and or just information comes through. And when you talk about somebody shows up, and this is not in terms of functioning as a medium, this is more functioning on the psychic, from the psychic perspective. I see many, I can say, when people say, who's out there? I can see many higher spirits, many. And the sense is that it's a consensus of opinion, you might say, a consensus. And I don't even necessarily focus on who's leading the conversation. The sense is simply, here is the information, and we all see it this way. We, meaning the spirits on the other side, on the higher level, see it this way.
Well, I have to stop you because I have to ask, how do you know that they're higher spirits?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, I know for two reasons. I can feel the high vibration.
Okay.
Which is very different than feeling the low vibration, and I can easily tell the difference. And the other thing is visually, it's almost as if there's a horizon, and they stand above the horizon.
Interesting.
Which is kind of fun, and that's good pure space up there. Other loved ones who have passed, I see them above that horizon for the most part, and angels and higher beings are also above that horizon.
Do you see some below the horizon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's lower energy.
That's lower energy.
By lower energy, you mean more negative energy?
Definitely more negative energy, and we possibly should do a whole little segment on that, because there's a lot of important information around there. Around that, the key thing to know for today, so to speak, is I can engage with them, but I don't interact with them, I guess you'd say. Okay. It's kind of like I can see them, and we can manage that situation to some extent, but I keep separate, like we all want to, like we all should, right. To keep that barrier in place and stay safe, basically.
And the ones above the horizon, you don't need to do that?
We don't need to do that because they're not going to try to step in and take over. They're not. They're for our highest and greatest good, and it is a matter of, for the most part, connecting the dots for us, helping. They can help. They can help in all kinds of ways. We should have a separate section on that as well. What can your guardian angel do for you? What is your spirit team? Who contributes what to your life? How do they work together? That might be interesting.
Yes. So you connect mostly with the ones that are above the plane to get the information that we're looking for. So if we want to explore something like religion or reincarnation or any of those kind of things, you would always go to those that are above the higher planes.
Absolutely.
And they would give you information.
And they would give accurate, truthful information. You don't necessarily want to open yourself to being misled, because that's not going to help anybody in a helpful way at any point in time.
So I guess I want to ask you then, do you know who any of those beings are that are above that horizon that we do talk to?
Well, what do you mean, do I know them?
Like, who are they? Like, are they angels? Are they archangels? Are they...
In terms of general classes, you might say?
Okay, or, does Jesus show up? Does Buddha show up?
They certainly can. And so individuals, if we talk generally in terms of classes of individuals, or classes of spirits, I guess you'd say, individuals in any one of those classes can show up. All you have to do is ask, all you have to do is look for them, put your focus on that. And that would be, your friends and relatives who have passed.
Okay.
That would be those considered ascended masters, like and Jesus, the Buddha, whomever else. Yeah, Lao Tse
Tung. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even say that, but I can see him.
Okay.
So we have access to those same great ones. Angels, certainly your own guardian angels, some archangels. Just haven't explored that a lot yet.
Okay.
So I think we have access probably to almost anything we'd be interested in that's helpful.
Okay. All right. So you feel pretty confident that the information you get, and do you interpret that information?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yes.
I try not to. So you will probably hear me stumble around a little when I pick up feelings and emotions. I may run through a whole line of adjectives trying to get exactly what that is. And I will often see images, very often see images. Sometimes, I've been doing this long enough that some images, I'm sure, represent certain things. So I don't really have to stop and interpret that, because it's just kind of like my own lexicon in terms of images. Other images for individuals in particular, I don't know the individual. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know how to interpret that for them. So I'll just tell them this is what the image looks like.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense to you, or maybe it's something we figure out later. So it just kind of depends on the situation in terms of interpretation. Interpretation is very key. And it is, so for those listening, it's easy to, I think, yes, they're saying, yes, I do think this, but that it's true. So we're in agreement on this, that people will hear things, and it's so much easier for them to interpret in a way they want to, in the way they want things to be.
Oh, sure.
That may not be the accurate interpretation. So that's kind of a caveat, and that's one reason that apparently it's all right to ask, kind of like more than once, to ask from different directions, to ask for clarification, and to even ask, did we get that right? And that's and I do that.
You do that
sometimes
a lot.
When
yes, right.
Do I do that a lot?
You do that a lot
because I want to get it right.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of like for people going home and listening. They need to do that as well. Did I get that right? So that they don't end up being misled by misinterpretation.
Okay.
Always easier in retrospect to go, oh, that's what that was about.
So if a symbol shows up and it doesn't make sense later sometimes it'll make sense all of a sudden. Yeah. Okay. So I think you've given enough information about who you are and what you do. Have you been doing this a long time?
Oh, this I think is important. No, well, not relatively long. I mean, look at how long I've been around.
That's right.
Relative to the length of my lifetime, no.
Sure.
But I've been doing this now probably, at least 10 years. At least 10 years. But I didn't have any of this experience. I had very little of this experience previously. I had kind of a normal life. Went to school, got married, had children, got divorced, raised the kids, and then after they were pretty well off, in college, I looked at, and I had been far enough along in my career that it wasn't that exciting and challenging. Sorry,
what
but it
was
really
your
wasn't.
career, by the way?
I was an attorney.
Oh,
I was an attorney.
Okay.
So it was interesting. I got to travel a lot. It was I appreciate my experience there.
Okay.
So after that, it's not after that, but during that period of time, it was kind of like, well, what else is there? I was looking for a little more, I just was looking for something new. What else? And my question was, what else can people do? I knew pretty well how to live on the earth plane by then in the three-dimensional world, and I was mildly curious about, so what else is there? And as soon as I opened that door, and I had a little more time because the kids were out of house, the universe just opened the floodgates and started to give me this experience, and you can do that experience, and here's another experience. It was awesome.
Fun.
It was so fun.
Yes.
It was so fun.
If
and
we
it's
only
still
knew
fun
to ask
today.
that question.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
We have to ask the question and
Okay.
be totally open.
Sure.
So open to with protection, open
With
to the
the
highest and
protection.
greatest good.
Did you find that out when you started to ask that question, that you needed to ask for protection too?
No, I did not know that. I think instinctively, because way back when, remember Ouija boards?
Yes, yes.
And
of course.
I could even then, I could feel the apprehension going, be careful around Ouija boards, and somehow that kind of carried through.
Okay.
It isn't like I never had any experience. I had some dreams that, in retrospect, during the time before I really got into this, in retrospect, I could see the dreams were prophetic. At the time, I didn't know that. So it isn't like I was totally not connected. But I think people should realize you can develop this if you're interested, if you're genuinely interested, at any time. You don't have to have been,
born
seeing things and all of that, right? So it really is a matter of your heartfelt interest and being willing to pursue it.
Great. So you've had quite an interesting life, doing the normal thing and then moving into all of these great experiences.
And I have to say, I moved into this kicking and screaming.
Okay.
My three-dimensional, psyche was saying, that's crazy. You're an attorney. You're not woo-woo. This is nothing you would want anybody to know that you do. And I've gotten over that.
Oh, good. Good. I think we're making this video, and hopefully you're over that.
Right.
Great.
So, meaning that even one's own attitude can get in the way of making progress, and you just have to ask for guidance and be willing, and the universe certainly wants more and more people to make this genuine connection, so they're going to help in every way they can.
Right. Well, tell you what, let's do. Let's stop there. I think we've given people a little bit of flavor of who you are, what you do, and hopefully sparked a little curiosity, because from what I understand, curiosity is pretty important in all of this.
It is.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. So this is Alice Brewer. Look forward to our upcoming videos. I think you'll learn some pretty fun things.
And if there are questions, if you have questions.
Right. If you have questions underneath the video on YouTube, there should be a place where you can ask anything you'd like to ask. We can look into that. So if there's a topic you're interested in, write it down there and let us know. And click likes too.
Oh, yes, please subscribe so that you'll know if you're interested, so you'll know when another video comes out.
Yeah.